What is the true price of kindness? Imagine you were faced with a difficult choice. Do the right thing, but at the cost of losing something important to you. How would you behave? This is the story of Mirko, a 20-year-old boy who finds himself having to make a decision that will change his life in ways he could never have imagined. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our stories. Stay until the end, because the ending of this story will truly leave you speechless. It was a day like any other for Mirko, a humble boy with a generous heart. While walking through the streets of his city, he noticed a scene that made his blood run cold. An elderly couple, Giovanni and Maria, were being publicly humiliated by the owner of a restaurant. The two, who looked modest and kind, had been kicked out of the restaurant because they had forgotten their money at home and did not know how to pay the bill. The restaurateur, an arrogant and compassionless man, was about to call the police, convinced that Giovanni and Maria were trying to deceive him. Mirko stopped and watched the scene for a moment. He saw Maria's frightened eyes and the dignity with which Giovanni tried to explain the situation. At that moment, something clicked inside him. He couldn't just stand by and watch. Without thinking twice, he approached the restaurateur and offered to pay the bill himself. It wasn't an easy decision. That money was meant for a birthday present for his girlfriend Sofia, whom he had been with for 2 years. However, Mirko didn't hesitate, convinced that doing the right thing was more important. He paid the bill, and John and Mary thanked him with deep gratitude, with tears in their eyes. The elders briefly recounted that they had lived a life of sacrifice, and that day they just wanted to enjoy a meal together. Mirko felt a pang in his heart, but also a satisfaction that he would never have felt otherwise. However, the weight of the sacrifice began to be felt as soon as he left the restaurant. His mind went back to Sofia, her upcoming birthday, and the lack of a gift for her. The next day, Mirko went to Sofia's birthday party with a heavy heart. He had nothing to give her, except his sincerity. When he finally managed to talk to her in private, he tried to explain what had happened. He told her about the elderly couple and how he had not been able to turn away. He hoped that Sofia would understand, that she would appreciate his gesture. But Sofia's reaction was devastating. Disappointed and unable to understand Mirko's choice, she accused him of not putting her happiness first. For her, Mirko's gesture had been a sign of disinterest in her. Heartbroken, Sofia decided to leave him, saying she couldn't be with someone who didn't consider her priorities. I invite you to stop for a moment and think, what would you have done in Mirko's place? Would you have sacrificed the gift to do the right thing? Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. After breaking up with Sofia, Mirko felt lost. The weight of his choice oppressed him, but he knew deep down that he had acted correctly. A few days later, while he was walking thoughtfully in the central square of the city, he saw a couple sitting on a bench. They were Giovanni and Maria. Despite his sadness, Mirko approached to greet them. The elders immediately noticed the melancholy in his eyes and invited him to sit with them. They started talking, and Mirko told them about his breakup with Sofia. Giovanni and Maria listened attentively. Then, with the wisdom accumulated over the years, they began to tell their life experiences. They explained to Mirko that difficulties often open new doors, and that sometimes, what seems like a loss turns out to be an opportunity for growth. The words of the elders touched Mirko deeply. Encouraged by their encouragement, he decided not to give up and find a way to give meaning to his life. He started a recycling project, using his father's old car, stored in the garage. Mirko knew how difficult it was for his mother to support the family alone after his father's death, and he wanted to do something to help her. He began collecting recyclable materials in the neighborhood and selling them to earn some extra money. At first, the work was tiring and the results were poor, but Mirko did not give up. His neighbors, seeing his determination, began to support him, donating their recyclables and encouraging him to continue. Over time, Mirko's project began to grow and soon became a point of reference for the community. However, the difficulties were not over. One day, he decided to take his mother to dinner at a restaurant to celebrate her birthday. In that restaurant, he met Sofia, who was now engaged to Flavio, the arrogant son of the restaurateur who had humiliated Giovanni and Maria. Flavio and Sofia wasted no time in trying to humiliate Mirko, laughing at his job as a street cleaner, as they called him with contempt. But Mirko remained calm, ignoring them, and focused on making the evening special for his mother. If you've enjoyed the story so far, I invite you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is essential to allow us to continue telling stories like this. The next day, life had an unexpected surprise for Mirko. He received a visit from Antonella, Giovanni, and Maria's daughter. Antonella had come to thank him in person for the help he had given her parents, but she also had something else to offer him. An incredible opportunity. She offered him a job in their family business, where he could put his creativity and dedication to good use. Not only that, Antonella explained that her parents had bought a small restaurant that was struggling and believed that Mirko's mother, with her talent in the kitchen, would be the perfect person to run it. Mirko accepted with enthusiasm, and his mother, over time, transformed that restaurant into a success. The quality and love she put into the dishes even attracted customers from Flavio's old restaurant, which eventually had to close. But life had one last twist for Mirko. One day, while he was working at his mother's restaurant, Sofia showed up, trying to reconcile with him. She said she had realized her mistake and wanted to get back together. But Mirko, now grown and matured from his experiences, gently pushed her away, explaining that his heart belonged to someone else. He had finally understood what it meant to love himself and the people who truly appreciated him for who he was. And so, Mirko found not only success, but also a new serenity, surrounded by people who loved him for who he really was. This story teaches us that doing the right thing, even when it seems like a sacrifice, always leads to unexpected and rewarding results. Remember, kindness even in difficult times always bears fruit. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.